This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. I do want to bring this up because it's become this legend, and I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe you can help us. Is it true that while Andre's gone filming this, Vince flies to him and pitches him on, we want you to be a bad guy and we want you to wrestle Hulk Hogan at the next WrestleMania?
Yes, that is true. And it was, Andre needed to get this surgery on his back, and Vince was able to talk him into getting the surgery and helping to find, the best surgeons in the world to work on him. Now, you've got a multiple of complications and different things that you've got to consider with a guy Andre's size. They had to build special tools. They had to build a special operating table. They had to bring in experts from all over the world in everything that you could possibly imagine. And in addition to that, now the biggest concern is anesthesia.
Right.
You got to put this big bastard out. Now, that's one thing you can do your math and your geometry and all your shit to figure out, well, what would it take to put a 500-pound giant under? And you may come pretty close. Now you got to think, what will it take to put a 7'4", 500-pound giant out who has a pain tolerance that is off the chart and drinks 18 gallons of alcohol a day? Uh-oh.
Right.
What if this fucker wakes up in the middle of surgery? Who knew? Or what if you gave him too much and he doesn't wake up at all? So there were so many variables that they had to play with, and they literally had the best surgeons and the best everything in the world for that surgery, and thank God it was successful.
Well, Vince goes to visit the set in late '86. It's England and Ireland is when that's filmed. So fast forward, WrestleMania 3 is going to become huge. And that surgery you were just talking about was to relieve the pressure from spinal stenosis. It actually happened after WrestleMania, based on the data that we found. Everyone thought and said and continued to believe that it happened before WrestleMania, but it actually happened in July of '87. But still, on the way to the match, Andre realizes he needs to get in better shape. So allegedly, Vince offered Andre a chance to train at his home gym at his house there in Connecticut. So he'd start showing up for his morning workout at 9:30 in the morning and working out at Vince's house. We know that Vince set up a home gym or a gym at the office, the Titan Towers. How many of the guys over the years do you think went to Vince's house to train with him? Hogan, Andre, anybody else?
I'm sure Warrior worked out there. I don't know.
Well, the seed was planted that he might be turning heel on a November 29, 1986 interview, where they announced that Andre's suspension had been lifted. And Jack Tunney confirmed that Andre the Giant wasn't at the hearing, but Bobby the Brain Heenan was. And that's sort of a little hint. Fast forward to Superstars in January of '87. And that's the famous Piper's Pit episode. That whole Piper's Pit bit with Andre and Hogan is still one of the more legendary, quote unquote, interview segments of all time. Is it not?
Absolutely. One of the best ever. And it was, also kind of cool because it was a little bit of a double turn with Piper going, to the babyface side and Andre going to the heel side, but just legendary with Andre ripping the shirt and the cross off of Hogan. And that was just good shit. To this day, I don't believe that Andre, that it was planned for the cross to come off.
Right. Or the blood come out. I mean, yeah. His fingernail nicked him. It was interesting. We should also mention in the build to that match, Andre wrestled one time. It wasn't necessary for him to do more. He had one match on Saturday night's main event. It was taped February 21st. And it aired on March 14th. It's a battle royal, and it saw Hulk and Andre come face to face. It does an 11.6 rating, a record for the time. I mean, really, pretty remarkable. And then WrestleMania 3, man, what else is there for us to say about WrestleMania 3?
Well, yeah, absolutely nothing. But the thing on the build up is you didn't have to see Andre wrestle. You had seen the Giant for years and years, and that is what you were going off of. You didn't want to see the Giant in the shape that he was in at that time. You wanted just be able to talk about the legend that the Giant was.
Denby says, when was the exact month that was decided for Andre to turn heel? I know he was suspended to film Princess Bride, and when his name finally resurfaced in fall of 86, Heenan's name is talked about in his reinstatement meetings. Did y'all know back in the summer of 86? Just curious. Now, of course, you weren't there just yet, but we're talking about the build for WrestleMania 3. And we know that very early in 87, we're going to establish that, hey, we're about to go that direction. And to your point earlier, Andre had always been the super baby face. Has Vince ever told you when he decided, okay, now's the time. Here's the right opponent. This is the right story?
It was, I want to say that it was right after WrestleMania 2 that Vince, was kind of looking around and going, who the hell do you put Hogan against?
Right. What next?
That's a mega attraction. That, was something, try to give them something that they hadn't seen before. Now, they had seen Hogan and Andre obviously before in Shea Stadium. Shep Watts had it on a Superdome show, and Hulk and Andre worked a program in reverse roles where Andre was the babyface and Hogan was the heel. This was an opportunity to have and Hogan had never beat Andre. So this was an opportunity to have that mega heel that you're really going to wonder what the hell are they going to do?
Right.
And although, look, Andre did do jobs, and I don't know that Andre was ever pinned outright. May have been. I think Harley may have pinned him. But Andre didn't do a lot of jobs. So the aura of an undefeated Andre the Giant was something that was attractive and that the general population probably didn't know.
Juan wants to know, back in the day, were there certain territories that would only use Andre as a heel just to sort of fit the narrative of the big scary guy?
I don't know of any territory except for Japan and maybe Mexico that ever did use Andre as a heel.
He was always just the friendly, loving Giant.
Oh, he's big, friendly, loving Giant. I can tell you the name of the restaurant in Houston was Vargo's that he liked when he would go to Houston.
Oh, okay. I was like, all right.
Had flamingos and shit. I think it's closed now.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.